Jungkook entered inside the meeting room and your gaze met his. You instantly broke the eye contact and looked down out of awkwardness. He greeted Yunwoo, then took his seat and signaled you to go front and explain things. Soon you started explaining. Jungkook is quite stunned and impressed by you, as he didn't expect that you would be this much perfect. He is proudly admiring you explaining. Namjoon secretly smiled as he noticed all this. At the end of the meeting, everyone praised you as you become the reason for the success of the meeting. Jungkook and Yeonwoo shake hands as Yeonwoo agreed for the collaboration. Once again, your secretary didn't fail to impress me, he said to Jungkook while looking at you. Jungkook felt an unknowing feeling running through his body. He didn't know why he didn't like the way Yeonwoo praised you, but he shrugged it off and forced a smile on his face. Well, after all, she's my secretary and I have trained her well. You smiled. Yeah, right. Well, Miss Kim, would you like to have dinner with me tonight? You got nervous and looked at Jungkook. He's already glaring at you seriously, and you thought that he's warning you not to say no as he's his important client. Sure, Mr. Cha, I would love. I'm sorry, Mr. Cha, but she's quite busy with work tonight, he said with a forced smile. You frowned as you confusedly looked at Jungkook, but someone was enjoying all this, and it was none other than Namjoon. Oh, it's alright then. Let's eat together some other day. Yes, sure, Mr. Cha. You said while smiling, and Jungkook unknowingly clenched his jaw on seeing that. Why is she smiling so brightly at him? She never smiles like that with me. I'll walk you outside, Mr. Cha. Sure. You glanced at Jungkook. He looked so pissed, but you shrugged it for now and made your way to walk Yunwoo outside. Once you left, Namjoon came close to Jungkook while smirking. Is someone jealous? He asked teasingly. Jungkook, who was still busy looking at your retreating figure, came back to his senses, hearing Namjoon's voice. What? What did you say? I said exactly what you heard. Hyung, your mind is filled with unnecessary thoughts, so clear them, please, he said in a serious tone, and Namjoon pressed his lips to control his smile. Okay, I will clear them. By the way, is she handling the job well? Yes, she is, he replied, then left from there. He is telling me to clear my mind. What about himself, whose mind is filled with Vian's thoughts only? Jungkook growled. Dropping his hand to his hips, he impatiently walked back and forth. He loosens the tie, then ran his hand through his messed up hairs. Does it take this much time to walk someone outside? He was thinking this till then you rushed into the office and his gaze fell on you. You gulped as you noticed that he is looking so pissed. Did you go to drop him to his home? No, I just walked him outside. Then does it take this much time? No, it just took me 5 minutes. You're making it sound like I went for hours. He got more pissed now. Do you enjoy walking people outside that much? Should I give you that work? Are you for real, Mr. John? I was just doing my work. Does work include going on date with my client? You looked at him with disbelief. Date? I was just doing what you were signaling me to. When he asked me for dinner, I looked at you, and through your expressions, I thought you wanted me to say yes, so I said yes to him. I had no other intention. He is your important client, so I was just trying not to make any mistakes and treat him well. Kimban, I'm your boss first, and you never treated me well before. You never ever showed me that Pretty smile of yours. You never. Wait, what did you say? Jungkook realized his words and stayed quiet. Are you perhaps jealous, Mr. John? You asked while raising your brows. Jealous and me? Have you gone mad? No way, you are actually jealous. I am not at all jealous, okay? I don't care who you smile at. I don't care with whom you go out for dinner. You can do whatever you want. Just make sure that it doesn't affect the work, alright? You pressed your lips tightly and nodded. Now go and bring me coffee. Okay, you started going outside, but then remembered something and turned back. By the way, how was my performance today? Did I do well at the meeting? You asked him hopefully with a smile. Your performance was impressive. Jungkook kept looking at you for a few seconds and didn't reply. Your smile faded. You thought that he didn't like your performance much. You cut him off. All right, I'll improve myself more and prove to you that I deserve to stay here. You said in low voice, then turned around to go. Jungkook sighed. This girl doesn't even let me speak. He walked towards you and turned you around by holding your hand. You gasped and looked at your hand, which he was holding. Your heartbeat unknowingly fastened. You were going to say something. Till then, he spoke up. Let's go. We are going somewhere. But where? He ignored you and made his way outside, holding your hand, and you followed him like a lost puppy. So, are you really treating me an ice cream for my performance? You asked with a smile. Yes, it was pretty good, he said without looking at you. Actually, Jungkook took you to an ice cream parlor and brought you ice cream as a reward. He wanted to show that he appreciates your performance at the meeting today. Look at you stuttering. Is it that hard to praise me? He looked at you before saying. Finish your ice cream. You talk too much. You smell before licking the ice cream. So, did I pass the trial period? Am I staying here? You asked him with hopeful eyes. He looked at you before saying, Yes, you have passed. A blissful smile bloomed across your face. Thank you so much. You stood and bowed at him while smiling. He unknowingly smiled on seeing you happy. Sit back, you dummy. He told you to sit back, so you sat back on your place. Do you want more ice cream? No, it's enough. Thank you so much. I have never seen this generous side of him. He actually has a good heart. This is the first time we are having a normal conversation. Probably yes. What can I even do when you are so annoying and dumb? You looked at him out of disbelief. Are you for real? He laughed, shaking his head. By the way, what would you have done if you had not passed the trial period? He asked out of blue. Then I would have gone somewhere else to find the job because I can't sit back at home as I have the responsibility of my younger sister. You said while looking at invisible point. How responsible and hardworking she is, and I have been giving her a hard time. Don't worry, I'm with you now. I will take care of you and your responsibilities. You looked at him with astonishment. Are you sure about what you said just now? I have never been more sure in my life before. You chuckled. Stop being so nice to me, you said with a smile. Why? I'm just afraid it will make me feel good. Jungkook kept looking at you while processing your words. Let's go back. We have lot of remaining work to complete. You said with a forced smile and stood up to go. Jungkook looked at your retreating figure, then took a deep breath and followed you. Jungkook looked outside and noticed you were not at your desk. He frowned and dialed your number. Hello, Mr. John. Where are you? Bring me hot chocolate. Okay, please wait for a few minutes. Okay. He cuts the call and gets back to work, but his mind is on you. After 10 minutes, when you still didn't come, then Jungkook frowned in confusion and decided to check by himself. Here, Mr. Zin, I have made copies of them. You can check it. You handed the copies to the head of department of your office. Okay, I will check them. First go and bring me coffee. You found it a bit weird. Why he is giving you orders? First he told you to make copies and now coffee. You shrugged and decided to bring coffee for him. Here, Mr. Jin, he took coffee from you and sipped it. He made the worst face after sipping it. Is it not good, sir? You asked politely. Is this how coffee is made? Poison is better than this rubbish. Your heart dropped on listening to him. I'm sorry, Mr. Jin, I'll make you another one. Don't you even know how to make coffee? Who hired you here? He said while throwing away the cup of coffee. You flinched at his burst out. Unknowingly, a drop of tear escaped from your eye. How dare you to shout at my secretary? Who gave you that right? He shouted while coming towards you. You didn't know why you felt relieved on seeing Jungkook. He came closer to you and saw your tear-filled eyes. Unknowingly his heart ached and he clenched his fist tightly. He turned to face Jin. Sir, I was just telling her to learn to make coffee. He tried to defend himself. I have heard everything already. No need to lie. First of all, tell me who are you to order around my secretary? Sir, I just asked her for coffee. Who the hell are you to do that? You have no right to order my secretary. Did you get that? Everyone gasped at the sudden outburst of Jungkook. You two surprisingly looked at him as you are seeing his new sides day by day. Jin lowered his head out of embarrassment. Apologize to her right now. Jin looked up at him. Sir, I just asked her to. Right now, or else you are fired. Jin lowered his head. I have never seen him this much mad before. I'm sorry, Miss Van, he apologized while lowering his head. Listen, everyone. No one has the right to order my secretary. Only I have the right. Remember that. He warned. Everyone nodded. He then came closer to you and held your hand. You looked at him, astonished. Come with me, he said softly and made his way to the office while holding your hand. Why did you follow his orders? He asked you in a softer tone. He is the head of the department, so I. You got cut off as he held your shoulders. Doesn't matter who he is. It doesn't matter. You don't have to follow anyone's order here other than me, okay? You nodded. I'm your boss here. You will only follow my order and only do what I will tell you to. You will not do anything at someone else's order, okay? You nodded. He stepped back from you and dropped his hands to his and exhaled a deep breath and walked back and forth. You silently watched his actions, then decided to ask, I have never seen you that mad before. He turns to look at you. And I also have never felt this way before. I have never been so affected by anyone's tears as much as I am affected by yours. I happen to know right now that I can't bear tears in your eyes. You looked at him, processing his words. He closes the distance and kisses your cheek. I have never hated anything as much as I hate seeing tears in your eyes. He said while looking deep in your eyes. You read his eyes and found some unknown emotions in them. You back off and can I know the reason? You asked with a straight face. I myself don't know. Okay. Thank you for helping me today. I'll go bring hot chocolate for you. He nodded, then he walked away and he stared at your retreating figure. You are working together with Jungkook in his office. You notice him hunching over his desk and rubbing his temple with a tired expression. You hesitated for a moment and cleared your throat. Mr. John, you seem exhausted. Would you like a shoulder massage? It might help with the tension. You offered tentatively, unsure of how he would react. He looked up sharply, his brow furrowed in surprise. A massage? Are you serious? Yes, Mr. John, it might ease the stress, you replied, trying to keep your tone respectful yet concerned. He scrutinized you for a moment and then sighed heavily. Fine, if you insist, but make it quick. You walked and stood behind him. Nervously, you began kneading his shoulders, trying to remember the techniques you had seen in online videos. You kept the massage professional, focusing on easing the knots in his shoulders and neck. What are you doing to me? He asked out of blue. What do you mean? I think I'm getting used to you being around. He held your hand to stop you from massaging further and bring you in front, then made you sit on his lap and put his chin on your shoulder and close his eyes. You guessed at his sudden move. Your heartbeat fastens. Are you aware of what you are doing right now? I may not be aware of that, but I'm pretty certain that you are the only thing that fills my head these days. You are all I can think about. You need to know that I have grown to care for you deeply. You make me want to be better. This was not supposed to happen. You were not supposed to do this to me. You processed his words. What about you? Does my presence affect you? No. You stuttered out of nervousness. He chuckled. Are you sure? Because your heart is saying otherwise. As it's beating so fast, I can hear it. You suddenly stood up from his lap and looked down nervously. He smirked and stood up too. He closed the distance, but he took steps back. Don't come close to me, it makes me blush. He laughs out loudly. Does it? He asked while bending down to your height, and you nodded shyly. No problem, it's not your fault. I'm so handsome, girls go crazy over me. You looked at him in disbelief and rolled your eyes. You're back to your role. Why are you so self obsessed? You're also back to your role. Why are you so cranky? Me and cranky? Do you really think I'm one? He nodded and laughed loudly, shaking his head. You playfully hit him. Don't hit me, I'm your boss. Boss needs to stay in their limits. He pulled you closer by your best. Well, employees also need to stay in their limits. They should not occupy their boss mind. Are you flirting with me? Is it bugging? Not at all. You pushed him away. Stop messing with me. I have so much work left to do. Well, I love messing with you. Why? Because you look cute when you're annoyed. What did you just say? I said you look like a fruit. He said teasingly and laughs. Come on, that doesn't even make any sense.